to take you through a very top line walkthrough, and we're going to start our journey at step 1 and phase 1. And this is all about making safe space safe. You need to assure the psychological safety and well-being of the participants. Participants may feel vulnerable and concerned about negative repercussions in terms of their career and mental health, or how they might be judged or perceived. And our workshops have highlighted that one of the key concerns ethnic minority employees have about taking part is the risk of negative repercussions on their work relationships and careers. So you might want to consult with them and ask them what concerns they have and what would make them feel safe. And we recommend that you create a meaningful psychological safety statement signed by the board, as this endorsement will encourage people to be honest. And you'll find an example of this in the workbook. This, along with the whole of Safe Space, was developed in collaboration with Mental Health First Aid England. And it's a really great resource. So please do take some time to download it and go through it. Give some thought to meeting rules and behaviours. Use the Chatham House rule, which means participants are free to use the information received, but they're not allowed to identify or affiliate anything to any of the participants. Talking about race equality issues can be really draining and can take a toll on mental health, and it can also re-traumatize or trigger emotions. So ensure that participants are empowered to ask for support and check in with them before, during and after the safe space session. Also, please do provide support or signpost them to further sources of support. And again, you'll find a list of some organisations in the resource pack on the website. Next slide, please. So the next phase of our journey is all about finding the right people. And the first step is to find a project lead, a change maker. Identify someone that's going to bring energy, focus, and continuity to the initiative. Look for passion, people skills, resourcefulness, someone trusted and respected, who's well connected and persistent. Brief them on safe space so they've got the right information to understand the scope of the role, and then get their agreement to be the lead and ask them what else they might need support-wise. So we're now at step 3, which is about finding your senior sponsor. Research has found that having a senior endorsement is the driver for success when it comes to diversity and inclusion. They'll champion safe space and help you engage with the board and access resources if needed. So we recommend you approach senior leaders who have influence and authority, as well as a passion for race equality and driving change. Explain what safe space is, its benefits, why senior leadership involvement is critical, and what's expected of them. And again, there's a template in the guide to help you do this. So at step 4, we recommend that you consult with colleagues. And this is a great way to build your case for safe space and also to get insight into the type of questions to ask during the session. They'll help you identify key issues that could be addressed. And they can also help you promote awareness of the initiative internally. So think about the questions you'll ask them, how you'll reach them, could be through your race networks or through surveys, and make sure that you allocate enough time to gather the information and also signpost them to additional support if necessary. So we're now at step 5, which is about securing senior board buy-in. The board has the power to make change happen, and that's why they're essential to the Safe Space initiative. They'll need to know the benefits of running Safe Space, what it is, who needs to be involved, and that would be ideally 3 to 5 board exco members, what's required, and what the next steps would be. So ask them for a decision to run Safe Space, as well as their agreement to participate, and also to commit to take action on at least one of the key issues that are raised. So when you've got their agreement, step 6 is all about creating a task and finish group to help you shape, drive, and implement Safe Space. So aim to create a diverse group, and we recommend that you appoint a chair to help focus and coordinate the group's effort. And it's also a good idea to draft terms of reference so everyone's really clear on the group's responsibilities, and there's a template in the pack for that too. And then we go on to the next slide, and we're at step 7 of the journey, which is about finding your employee participants. So ideally, you'll need about 10 ethnic minority colleagues, and you should, again, consider a representative and diverse group of people. Think about the selection criteria, the process, and how to reach them. You'll find an outline of key things they might want to know and messages that you might want to use to engage them in the pack. And when you've selected them, very, very importantly, please remember to signpost them to any additional support. Step 8 is all about getting ready. And there are a few things that you need to think about in advance. So Javid mentioned earlier that one mandatory element is having a good facilitator. So look for someone who's going to manage the conversation sensitively and robustly while ensuring that the session is kept on track. Could be someone internal, or if resources permit, an external facilitator. We also recommend that you encourage board members to think about the questions that they want to ask. And remember, it's not just what questions they'll ask, but how they'll ask them. So it's a good idea just to spend some time with them in advance. And it's also important for participants to prepare in advance of the session as well, so that you get the most value out of it as possible. Finally, you need to think about things like agendas, running orders, and logistics. And again, the resource pack will provide you with more detail and guidance on these things to help you along the way. So we're now on step 9, which is all about running the session. And we've suggested 2 hours to cover a minimum of 3 issues. And it's a good idea to have an agenda with timings in advance. Allow time for introductions. The facilitator will keep the conversation on track and ensure that there are fair opportunities for everyone to speak. They'll focus the discussion on the key issues, exploring why there are key issues, what evidence there is for them, and what it would mean if the organisation were to take action to address them. Remember to summarise the key points and agree next steps during a session. The next steps will depend on your discussion. It could be that you agree to collate more information and evidence, or the board could be ready to discuss the key issues and decide which to take action on straight away. So we've now reached phase 4 and step 10. So we're on the home stretch now. So as Javid mentioned, a crucial element of safe space is taking action. So the board needs to discuss the key issues that were raised during the session and decide which ones they're going to act on. And we also recommend that safe space participants meet with the board to hear which issues will be addressed. Importantly, ethnic minority colleagues must be involved in the task and finish groups set up to address the key issues. And this is based on feedback from our workshops with ethnic minority employees. And step 11, even our final step, is all about monitoring progress, which is critical. So to understand if anything has changed, you need to measure the impact of the actions taken. So we recommend that you review the safe space experience with colleagues, track progress on action and impacts, and finally, do update us on the progress you've made. We would love to feature your organisation as a case study. And that's all of the steps covered. There is a lot more detail in the guide, so please do download it.